Have you ever wondered what Donald Trump Jr.'s college years were like? Did you know Tiffany Trump was once an aspiring pop star? Who is the favorite Trump kid? We answer those questions and more with a peek inside the secret lives of the Trump children. In America's elite boarding schools, upper-class offspring gain independence from high-achieving parents, prepare for the Ivy League, and learn how to be outstanding members of high society. But for the older Trump children, being sent away to boarding school provided some much-needed distance from their parents. Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. were whisked away to boarding school in the wake of their father's extramarital affair with Marla Maples. Don Jr. found school to be a relief from the usual tabloid headlines and constant security guards. He told New York Magazine, "When I went to boarding school, it all kind of went away, all those inconveniences that I found obtrusive." He reportedly didn't speak to his father for a year or attend his 1993 wedding to Maples. A few years later, 15-year-old Ivanka Trump followed a similar path out of her parents' hair and into an elite private boarding school in Connecticut. She told Marie Claire in 2007, "I think my mom threatened to put me up for adoption a few times. Then I was all of a sudden in the prison of boarding school life, and all my friends in New York were having fun." In Ivana Trump's memoir, Raising Trump, she claimed it was her decision to name Don Jr. after his father. At the time, the older Donald reportedly protested, "You can't do that. What if he's a loser?" The very start of Don Jr.'s life, according to GQ, was similarly fraught. Shortly after he was born on New Year's Eve 1977, his father went home to ring in the new year, and his mother reportedly put a boa and a mink over her hospital gown and went to visit a friend on another hospital floor. Then, under the watch of his first nanny, Don Jr. broke his leg and almost drowned. Ivana wrote in her book that an adolescent Don Jr., quote, expressed his pain with anger, and he was really angry. During college, he had a reputation for getting into drunken fights. In 2010, the younger Donald told a journalist he felt pressure to live up to his father's name, saying, "You want to please someone like that, and he's a perfectionist." There's definitely always that shadow that follows you around, like how is this guy, the son of someone so good at what he does, going to act? In his own 2019 memoir, Triggered, Don Jr. wrote that he eventually gave up drinking for good. Given his family's history with destructive alcoholism, he realized his partying was, in his words, a recipe for disaster. On Father's Day 2020, Don Jr. interviewed his father and jokingly asked,
"Which is your favorite Trump child, and why is it Ivanka?"
The wise guy over here.
Don Jr. previously stated that Ivanka is their father's favorite child in a 2015 interview with Barbara Walters, and Eric and Tiffany seemingly agreed. Donald confirmed it himself in a 2004 profile for New York Magazine. When the journalist asked him if there was any favorite playing among his children, Trump answered, "Come on, Daddy's little girl." Though Tiffany was 11 years old at the time, Donald was referring to his oldest daughter. He went on to say, "Let me tell you one thing. Ivanka is a great, great beauty. Every guy in the country wants to go out with my daughter." Donald's remarks about his eldest daughter have raised eyebrows for years. When she was 16 years old and hosting the 1997 Miss Teen USA beauty pageant, Donald reportedly called Ivanka hot, according to the New York Times. He also told Howard Stern, "She's actually always been very voluptuous." Trump then agreed with Stern after the radio host called Ivanka a piece of ass.
I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know.
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird!
Over the years, Ivanka has drawn attention not only as Donald Trump's daughter, but also as a model, fashion designer, judge on The Apprentice, and an active participant in her dad's presidential administration. But his other daughter, Tiffany, hasn't been exposed to nearly as much limelight. Because of their 12-year age difference and the fact that Tiffany was born as a result of their father cheating on Ivanka's mother, outsiders may assume there's some bad blood between the half-sisters. But based on Ivanka's first book, The Trump Card, Playing to Win in Work and Life, Ivanka seemed to take her big sister role in stride. When a 15-year-old Tiffany told Ivanka about her anxiety over asking their father for an allowance, Ivanka took matters into her own hands. She wrote in the book, "Big Sis did an end-around to save Tiffany the trouble. I didn't tell her, of course, but I went to our father and suggested he think about surprising Tiffany with a credit card for Christmas with a small monthly allowance on it. The plan worked, and according to Ivanka, the gesture built Tiffany's gratitude for and trust in her big sis." Like Ivanka, Tiffany tried on multiple hats outside of the family's traditional real estate path and its new political path. In 2011, at the age of 17, Tiffany released a pop song called Like a Bird. At the time, she expressed an interest in pursuing a professional music career and was working towards a full album. The songstress reportedly had 8 additional tracks in the works, but Like a Bird never took flight. Tiffany eventually abandoned her dreams of pop stardom in favor of pursuing a more traditional Trump path, attending the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business, as Donald, Don Jr., and Ivanka had to pursue a BA in sociology. While at Penn, she landed an internship with Vogue with a little help from Ivanka and made her runway debut during New York Fashion Week in 2016. In May 2020, Tiffany graduated with a JD from the Georgetown University Law Center in Washington, D.C. Don Jr. made headlines by appearing in marketing materials for Desert Tech, a gun company operated by an extremist polygamous religious sect. Starting on July 24, 2020, the company posted multiple social media posts and a promotional video which featured the first son shooting rifles in Utah. Don Jr. commented on some of the Instagram posts, saying, "Awesome time, guys. Can't wait to do it again soon. Great being with you guys. Awesome stuff." One of the photos featured Donald Jr. posing in a Desert Tech hat alongside the company's founder, Nicholas Young. According to CBS News, Young holds an influential position in religious sect The Order, which has been deemed a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center for its anti-Black and anti-LGBT teachings. Since spring 2020, the U.S. government had been trying to seize Desert Tech's headquarters in the wake of an alleged billion-dollar fraud scheme perpetrated by several other high-ranking members of the sect. Although neither Young nor Desert Tech were directly implicated in any crimes related to that ongoing federal investigation, many criticized Don Jr.'s association with the company. In response to the backlash, Don Jr.'s representative released a statement which read in part, "Don routinely gets offers from Second Amendment enthusiasts from around the country. He had never met the owner of Desert Tech prior to going shooting with him, has no personal relationship with him, only spoke to him about shooting." The Donald J. Trump Foundation was a private organization that dissolved in 2019 as the result of a court order. In 2017, the foundation was criticized for funneling $100,000 of donations for child cancer patients through the Eric Trump Foundation into Donald J. Trump Foundation revenue. According to Forbes, more than $500,000 in donations for sick children were redonated to charities, including organizations that were directly tied to Trump family business interests and those who paid to host golf tournaments on Trump properties. Eric started the Eric Trump Foundation in 2007 to raise money for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and stopped fundraising once his father was elected president. In 2018, the Donald J. Trump Foundation agreed to shut down in the wake of its controversies, which included the misuse of funds as well as other instances where charitable contributions were used for business purposes at other Trump enterprises. At the time, then U.S. Attorney General Barbara Underwood said, "The Trump Foundation functioned as little more than a checkbook to serve Mr. Trump's business and political interests."
There's no reason why a foundation owned and operated by a sitting president should be exempt from the laws that we routinely apply.
Shortly after Donald Trump won the 2016 election, his wife Melania and their son Barron made headlines for choosing to stay at Trump Tower in New York while Donald moved into the White House. Melania and Barron stayed in Manhattan for nearly 5 months so that 9-year-old Barron could finish his school year before moving to the White House in June 2017. It's no surprise Barron would be reluctant to leave the Trump Tower, where he reportedly had an entire floor to himself, as Town and Country claimed. Donald confirmed his son's lack of enthusiasm about the so-called downgrade. He told People magazine in 2016, "He does love New York and he loves his school. He does like what he's got right now. That would be a whole change of life." And while swapping a whole floor for a single bedroom probably didn't appeal to a kid who was accustomed to the high life, the coronavirus pandemic of 2020 seemed to make things even worse. Asked by reporters in April 2020 how his son was dealing with shelter-in-place orders, Donald said, "Barron is like everyone else. I mean, everything is shut down. He's in his room. He's happy, but he's not as happy as he could be." Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.